I'm sorry, will you take the question?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parrish, that's request.
Is doing a pretty good job of ferreting out problems and placing children in stable foster homes.
No, sir, that is not.
You don't think they're doing a
No,
good job?
that is not my testimony. My testimony is in regards to figuring out whether folks are cohabiting, then they are doing that in regards to figuring out, because there was a lot of questions in regards to how can we determine that, what do you do, and they're already looking at that.
All right,
and making determination for cohabitation.
Well, I'll just ask you the question. Do you think that DHS is doing in general, a good job of placing kids in good, stable homes?
I think there are, I think there maybe, I think it's going to depend. I think a lot of times there are. I think we could probably recruit some other families.
I think we could always do better anytime we have an agency that large. But that's my question. I just wanted to get your feelings on the way that DHS was performing their duties as mandated to them at this point. So the answer is we could always do better, but they're doing okay. They're doing pretty good.
They could always do better. There are some evidences of some problems. I'm not going to lay all of them at DHHS feet, but there are some problems.
My name is Eddie Ochoa. I'm a general pediatrician and the vice president of the state chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. I'm here today to speak against Senate Bill 959. Because the American Academy of Pediatrics is dedicated to the health of all children, we believe that despite its title, this bill is harmful to children, especially, as the judge mentioned, the vulnerable group of children in foster care and in need of adoptive homes that this bill would affect. This position is supported by 3 points. First, in an extensive review of over 3 decades of research, a paper in the journal Pediatrics in 2006 stated, quote, "Several studies comparing children who have a lesbian mother with children who have a heterosexual mother have failed to document any differences between such groups on personality measures, measures of peer group relationships, self-esteem, behavioral difficulties, academic success, or warmth and quality of family relationships," unquote. The article went on to point out that children with gay or lesbian parents have normal relationships with childhood peers and age-appropriate social relationships. Additionally, numerous studies have found no evidence of gender identity confusion, cross-gender behavior, or other role problems in children who had lesbian mothers compared to heterosexual mothers. In fact, 2 recent population-based, non-biased, large sample studies in England and the United States found no difference in things like childhood self-esteem, school success, maternal warmth, or psychological disorders when comparing children raised in families with 2 lesbian women, a single heterosexual woman, and a heterosexual male-female pair. The point is that this is good science, conducted over 3 decades, and has not shown harm to children raised by 2 same-sex parents. My second point is that as pediatricians, we think more quality foster homes are needed, not less. As the table and graph behind me show, only 59% of children in the foster care system are placed in foster homes with families, where the chances for good outcomes are best. I would also like to point out that in the snapshot of the foster care data sets earlier this year, provided by DHHS, less than half of these children were placed with a married couple, and only 1 in 5 were with a single, separated, or divorced female. All these foster homes pass a rigorous screening process that includes home inspections, interviews, and health assessments. This bill would further shrink the number of foster or adoptive family applicants on a basis that is not supported by science, and would actually worsen the situation some children live under because of the cohabitation ban. If any of the women that I just mentioned who care for 1 in 5 kids in the foster care system were to have a boyfriend or partner live with them, potentially improving the economics of the home, this bill would not allow that. My third point is that I have an additional worry. As I have cared for children in the foster care system and other children that are separated from their families as a result of things like immigration raids that have happened in this city, that this bill would make it more difficult for DHHS to help place large numbers of children in foster care in the event of an emergency, natural disaster, or other crisis. This bill is simply too broad. DHHS estimates that it needs 66 new foster families per month, in addition to those they currently have, to support the need for quality foster homes. Unfortunately, from October to December of last year, they got 41 families. That's less than 15 a month, as the number of children placed in foster care continues to rise. In closing, I would like to point out that other professional groups in our state like the state chapters of the American Psychological Association and the National Association of Social Workers, support our position. The American Academy of Pediatrics, in its stated position affirming the ability of same-gender couples to provide a nurturing home to children, is joined by other national groups, as Representative Webb mentioned, such as the Child Welfare League of America, the American Academy of Family Physicians, the American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the National Adoption Center, and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. This bill does not promote the best interests of children by excluding groups from adoption or foster care provision. 3 decades of science do not support that exclusion against the backdrop of ever-increasing need for quality foster and adoptive families. I urge you to not pass this bill. Thank you for your time.
My name is Shay Stout.
Okay. Who are you with, Shay? You individual?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're recognized.
Thank you. I would just like to make 3 points against this bill. I think that I've been given every opportunity that a child has been given, even if they were with a heterosexual family. I'd like to elaborate on some of those opportunities by saying that I attend sports. My lesbian parents provided money to go to different activities, like the movies with people, and such as dates with my girlfriend, and church activities. And I still have the same dreams that any other kid would have. I plan on attending the University of Tennessee for college and then go to med school at Harvard. And my next point would have to be that I really have never been harassed just because that I have lesbian parents. People look at me as just another person with a regular family. And I even attended a private Catholic school, and I still was not harassed about anything like that. And I think that I could do basically anything that any other child could do if they were in a heterosexual family. And I think that's about it.
Shay, would you accept questions from the committee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Wood, you're recognized for a question.
Shay, thanks for coming here today. I have a lot of respect for someone your age, being able to sit at the end of the table and testify like you're doing. But I do have a question. Are one of your parents your biological mother? Or, excuse me, are you related to?
Yes, I'm blood related to my biological mom. She is here today.
Representative Johnson, recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Shay, where do you live?
I live with both my moms in a house.
Is that nearby?
It's
I'm not saying to give us an address, but I'm just what county do you live in?
I live in Shannon Hills. It's a small town close to Mableville.
Is that Saline County?
Yes.
Okay.
So.
And you have your mother, your biological mother, and then and then her partner. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Have they raised you?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of activities have you been involved in at school?
Well, I'm on all the sports teams, basically, that are actually important to me. Like basketball, soccer, and football.
I think you mentioned that kids don't harass you. Have you ever had any a lot of harassment from other kids about that?
None of my friends really harass me, and I'm friends with everybody, so I think the media just expands, like, saying that homosexuality is, like, bad, like, way too much, because I'm, like, an actual person that is in the real world, and I go to school, and nobody gives me anything bad about having lesbian parents.